Moving on to our core topic, let's look at the specific hazard present within the manufacturing industry, focusing particularly on paint manufacturing. For our first point, it is well established that workers in the paint manufacturing sector are routinely and directly exposed to various chemical hazards in their daily work environment. Looking at the second point, what exactly are these chemicals? These primary substances used are organic solvents. As shown in the image here, the most common examples include toluene and xylene. This brings us to the third point. While these organic solvents are highly useful and absolutely essential for the paint production process, they can be significantly harmful to human health if workers are overexposed. Finally, the fourth point highlights the critical factor of risk management. The health risks to workers increase dramatically when safety control measures are either missing, inadequate, or not properly applied on the factory floor.
As we heard from the previous section, workers in the paint manufacturing industry are regularly exposed to dangerous organic solvents such as toluene and xylene. There are three main routes through which these chemicals can enter the human body: inhalation, skin absorption, and ingestion. The first route is inhalation. This is the most common and most dangerous route in paint manufacturing. Toluene and xylene evaporate quickly and release invisible vapors into the air. Workers breathe in these vapors, which are then rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream through the lungs. In enclosed production areas with poor ventilation, these vapors can build up to dangerous concentrations, making inhalation the main concern in any production area. The second route is skin absorption. Organic solvents can penetrate directly through the skin upon contact through spills, splashes, or handling solvent-contaminated equipment without proper gloves. Repeated exposure also gradually damage the skin's natural protective barrier, making further absorption even easier over time. For the third route, it is ingestion. Workers who do not wash their hands before eating or drinking may unknowingly transfer chemical residues into the mouth. Consuming foods near production areas further increase this risk. Proper hand washing and eating only in designated clean areas can effectively prevent this. In summary, all three routes must be recognized and controlled to fully protect workers from chemical hazards in the paint manufacturing industry.
Next, this slide shows the health effects caused by exposure to hazardous chemicals. There are two categories of health effects, which are acute effects and chronic effects. Acute effects are short-term effects that occur immediately or shortly after exposure. Workers may experience dizziness, headaches, nausea, discomfort, eye irritation, and respiratory irritation. Exposure can also affect the central nervous system, causing a lightheaded or dizzy feeling. Chronic effects are long-term effects that develop after repeated or prolonged exposure. Workers may suffer from memory loss, reduced concentration, and decreased work performance. Long-term exposure can also damage important organs such as liver and kidneys. Therefore, it is important to control exposure to hazardous chemicals in the workplace to protect workers' health and prevent both short-term and long-term health effects.
This slide shows the control measures used to reduce worker exposure to hazardous substances such as asbestos. First, engineering control. Engineering control involves making physical change to the workplace. For example, installing ventilation system helps remove harmful dust and fibers from the air, reducing the amount that workers breathe in. Second, administrative control. These are workplace policies and procedures designed to reduce exposure. Examples include providing safety training, implementing standard operating procedure, and using job rotation so that workers are not exposed to hazard for long periods. And last one, personal protective equipment or PPE. Workers should wear appropriate PPE such as respirator, glove, and safety goggles. This provides a final layer of protection when hazards cannot be completely eliminated. In conclusion, combining engineering controls, administrative control, and PPE is the most effective way to protect workers' health and safety in the workplace. This slide highlights the importance of being aware of chemical hazards in the workplace. Chemical hazards are not always visible, so many workers may be exposed without realizing it. Even if the exposure is small, continuous contact over a long period can still cause serious health problems. Therefore, workers must understand the risks associated with the chemical they use and follow the correct safety procedure by recognizing hazard, controlling risk, and taking preventive measures. We can protect our health and maintain a safe working environment.
Good morning, I'm Hannah and I'm an intern from the Industrial Hygiene program. Today is my first day in this manufacturing plant.
Okay. Welcome, Hannah. Our factory produces industrial paints used in construction and automotive industries.
The workplace involves mainly hazardous substances, especially chemical solvents used during production. I'm scientist but also witnesses. I hope I can learn more about workplace safety and hazards.
That's good. Awareness is the first step to preventing occupational disease.
In this manufacturing industry, we frequently use organic solvents like toluene and xylene to dissolve pigments and resins. So this is toluene and xylene. These chemicals help to make the paint smooth and dry faster.
Are these chemicals classified as hazardous?
Yes, they are classified as volatile organic compound and can easily evaporate into the air. Workers here may be exposed daily if proper controls are not applied.
So this is a common exposure scenario in manufacturing industry.
Exactly, many workers underestimate the risk because the exposure is not always visible.
Right now, I'm mixing solvent with pigments in this container. I can smell the chemicals from here. Hannah, please step back. You're not wearing a mask.
That smell indicates airborne chemical vapors. This is a sign of potential inhalation exposure.
I thought it was good to for a short time.
Even short exposure can affect your health. This is an unsafe act. Many workplace accidents happen due to lack of awareness or ignoring procedures.
I understand now. Safety must always be included.
What are the main routes of entry for the solvents?
There are three main routes. First is inhalation, which is breathing the vapors. Second is skin absorption, contact with liquid solvents. Third is ingestion, which is contaminated hands touching food. Inhalation is the most common route in these areas.
So breathing in these vapors every day can be dangerous?
Yes, especially in poorly ventilated areas.
About toxicology, exposure to toleration cause dizziness, head change, and eye irritation.
Sometimes workers feel lightheaded after long shift. That is a symptom of central nervous system depression.
What about long-term exposure?
The chronic exposure may lead to memory loss, reduced concentration, liver damage, and kidney problems. In several cases, it can lead to long-term occupational illness.
So even low exposure over time can still be harmful?
Yes, that's why exposure limit and monitoring are very important.
We use the hierarchy of control to manage chemical hazard. First one, engineering controls, local exhaust ventilation system. Second, administrative controls, training, SOP, and job rotation. And last one, personal protective equipment, respirator, glove, and goggles. PPE is the last line of defense, but it's very important.
Management must also ensure compliance and regular health surveillance. This shows how toxicology knowledge is applied in real workplace.
Hazardous substances are common in manufacturing industry.
Without proper control, workers' health is at serious risk.
As an intern, I learned that understanding routes of entry and toxic effects can help prevent occupational disease.
A safe workplace protect employees and improve productivity.